We are live. This is the NBA Rundown. I'm your host, Fred Astaire, joined as always by Tyler Hicks. What we're going to do today is go through this NBA card, and then, of course, we'll be right back on this channel, Nuke the House, for an NFL show. Tyler, I don't know if I told you, I don't even know if I'll be there for the whole thing. So you'll get to hear some stuff, and then I'll have you guys clean that up there. But let's dive right into the NBA. I'll get your thoughts first, and then I have a couple thoughts of everything we saw this weekend.
Yeah. Just to start, I'll just jump into last night, the last game of the night. That Rockets team that I thought was going to take a little longer to develop some defense and everything spread. And I think they're going to be a play-in team. They're going to be pretty good. They're going to hang around that bottom of the Western Conference, I think. And your boy Şengün, it's his team, not Jalen Green's team. I think we decided that one already. So you win that one. You can have your victory lap. It's definitely your guys' team. Very interested in what you're sitting on, seeing as though the chair is behind you and it's empty.
A different chair.
Yeah, but what else? OKC, I mean, they're pretty good. SGA, they gave it to Steph. Chet had that big game against Golden State when we bet them. So that was good to see. And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. Detroit stinks, and Cade's calling out his teammates saying they stink.
Is that even that big a deal?
I think it's bigger. Like, we all knew they stunk. But, like, when your main player is like, yeah, we suck, and we're not giving enough effort, I think that's got to give something to the other guys on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could be an issue.
Because I don't think that was calling out Monty Williams.
No, it's probably I don't even know. It just sounded like some frustration that I didn't really think was that big a deal.
And then there's the Levine stuff, which, I mean, he just needs traded already.
Yeah, it might be one of those things, though, where they're going to try and get the best deal.
I think it's just too late for that, though. You know what I mean? Like, now you got disgruntled guy who's going to demand his way out, and everyone's going to look at it and be like, why would we pay top dollar for a guy who's going to demand his way out?
Yeah, but we thought that about Dame, and they got a pretty good return.
Yeah, but Dame was also, locked in for a big contract for the next couple of years, so he couldn't really just demand his way out. Like, I think Levine's contract's either up after this year or next year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like either you ruin the locker room for an extra year and waste another year, or you just take what you can get for him. You know what I mean?
I still think they'll end up getting a pretty good return. For someone who actually I consider to be kind of an overrated player.
I think he's so overrated.
Right? I mean, like, who does he really help?
You know who he is?
Who are you like, oh, if they get Zach LaVine, they're a title contender, you know?
He's like light-skinned J.R. Smith.
Yeah,
I mean, J.R. Smith was ever given the keys to a team.
He's a little better than J.R. Smith.
Is he, though?
Yes. He's definitely better at creation. He's a better shooter, I would think.
I mean, JR was a shooter spread. Those went in. I mean, how many times we look at Levine's stat line at the end of the night? Dude's like 0 for 6 from 3.
Yeah, but a lot of those players are like that with the hot and cold. All right, well, my main takeaway from the weekend is, dude, so many more people smoke in Reno than Vegas. Those sports books are just ridiculous, dude. It felt like it was like 1958 in there.
You probably couldn't breathe with all the cigarette smoke in there.
Oh, dude, it's just absolutely terrible, dude. I was like sick to my stomach, had a headache. Like, oh, man. Anyways, that's my takeaway from the weekend. Let's dive right into tonight. And you see I already have the projections up, Tyler, but we don't have any tags. The first 3 games on the docket are not games that I'm too excited about getting involved with. All 3 involve significant road favorites, but kind of had some problems getting tricky trying to take those points so far this season, right, Tyler? Hasn't been the strategy that it was previously. You talked about Cade Cunningham, and maybe that's not the reason. The Detroit Pistons are plus 8.5 because they're absolutely terrible this year. I think they've lost 11 games in a row. I mean, that's not good. Nuggets laying 8.5, 223. The concern here, of course, is that the Nuggets sleepwalk through the thing. Detroit gets fired up after being called out by their team leader, and they keep this close. I don't know. My projections told me to take the Pistons, and I laughed. There's no way I'm taking the Pistons. What do you think of this one? Anything?
Yeah, no way you could take the Pistons here, even with like Cade calling them out. They should put more effort up here. It's just like that team's just so bad right now. And Denver's on a back-to-back. So it's like, maybe you could talk me into Detroit. But at the same time, Jokic only played 28 minutes last night. He's in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls. He still put up 18, 10, and 7 against a Cavs team. They lost 121 to 109.
Mm-hmm.
I can bet his triple-double at plus 145 on its own and bet the triple-double and win at 2-1. I'm not laying 9. I think he just nukes his team tonight out of frustration after last night's loss. And they could win the game by 1. They could win the game by 35 at that point. But I do think he triple-doubles and puts up a crazy stat line right here.
All right. Yeah, and Pistons were looking good until they lost breakout center Jalen Duren.
Yeah, and if Duren's still out because he's got a Q tag in this game, I mean, who's stopping Jokic? He's going to maul Marvin Bagley. He's going to.
I mean, even if Duren's in, he's not going to stop him. But I'll tell you what, I would like the points a lot more if he was in there.
Yeah, it just gives a bigger body that Jokic would have to.
In fact, you're going to hate this. I almost want to play it if he's in there. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Let's move on to the next game before I talk myself into it.
The moment you did that, I had flashbacks to Portland yesterday when you said,
Yeah. Stop. The Boston Celtics, -8.5. They're in Charlotte. They're taking on the Hornets, 233.5. My game have the Celtics by 10. The Celtics are wildly unpredictable, though. You notice when you do these projections, right? Because they won by 30 and then they won by 2 or 3, whatever they won by yesterday against Memphis. I know they didn't cover for sure here. I don't know. Al Horford's out. Derek White's out. Whoop-de-doo. Sam Hauser's starting. And the other one, I don't really want to get involved with. Am I missing anything by not doing this?
No, I mean, I think Boston ends up winning this game. I don't think Charlotte does. Isn't this a back-to-back for Charlotte, too? Didn't they play yesterday? Or was Charlotte's game on? Okay, yeah, Charlotte played on Saturday. They played Saturday. So, I mean, neither back-to-back.
Both teams played Saturday, right? Boston didn't play yesterday either, did they?
Yeah.
Dude, when you're up there in that sports book, the whole weekend is just a blur.
Yeah.
College football, F1 on in the middle of the night. I mean, like, what is going on?
Yeah. And you got neither team off a back-to-back. You're going to have missing pieces on the Boston side, but I don't think those missing pieces are all that important. I think Porzingis just lights up a guy like Mark Williams who's going to want to stay in the paint. I could look at him like, say, 3+ threes in a Boston wins. I don't hate that, or even 2+ threes if you wanted to manually build that one and get a little less odds. I think Tatum just lights up these wings for Charlotte, too. I mean, who's covering him? Gordon Hayward. Good luck with that. It's like a senior citizen trying to cover an elite wing. He goes for 25+. You could do that performance double either or go up to 30+ and get a plus 180. But I do see Boston winning this game in the end. And I leave the -8 alone or the 233 and just play the performance doubles.
All right, Tyler, like the performance doubles. I'm fine staying away from that. Next up on the docket is another big road favorite. The Milwaukee Bucks are -10 in Washington taking on the Wizards. Tyler, this total here is 246. I'm not falling for that trick again. It's over or pass for me. That's the only way I'm looking at this game. I guess you could get kind of funny with it and take a Milwaukee team total over as well if you didn't want to get involved. But overall, man, I mean, I'm kind of fine staying away from this team. I don't know. I guess, like I said, the over is something we can consider.
Yeah, I like the over on their team total. I don't hate their over in the first half either. Like, what can we get that at? Their first half team total is 63.5. That's pretty high for a first half.
Pretty high.
But Washington sucks. Like, they can't play defense. They can't guard anyone. They're going to get any bucket they want. They are dead last in defending the paint. Giannis and these guys are going to feast on the inside too. If they're hitting their threes, they might have 70 to 80 by the end of the first half spread. Like, this is one of those spots where I think they just kind of – and you know how we thought they were bad at the beginning of the year? Last couple of games, they are bad at the beginning of the year. The last couple of games, they've put it together. Like, they look like they're getting it together. Their defense isn't there yet, but their offense is starting to click. I think they put up a ton of points here.
So, should we play that over?
If we're playing the over, it's Milwaukee's team total and not the full game.
All right. Well, we'll see if that ends up on the card.
Because if anything happens here, I would rather be on their team total getting to 129 rather than we look at Milwaukee have 130 Jordan Poole can't hit the side of a barn with a jump shot and we fall like 3 or 4 points short.
Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous contract. All right, let's move on. The first one that I really, really like, the New York Knicks are +2. They're in Minnesota. They're taking on the Timberwolves. The total is a really low 214.5. Tyler, how do we approach this game between the Timberwolves and the Knicks?
Take the Timberwolves. I mean, I think they're almost I'd say they're almost replicas of each other the way they're built. They both have 2 bigs. They both have decent point guards. Brunson's better than Conley, of course, at this point in their careers. But the deciding factor here is one team has a stud and the other one doesn't. And that's Anthony Edwards on the Minnesota side. Like RJ Barrett's good. He's no superstar in this league. He can't take over a game and dominate it the way Ant can. And the way Minnesota's playing defense, when they lock in, it's tough to score on this team. A New York Knicks team that's had trouble scoring, and sometimes during this year, I got to side with Minnesota here. I think they win this game pretty easily. Cat 3+3s, and they win +270. I like to look at that. You can even do 4+. Well, not as I thought that was 4+3s. It's 4+ assists. We'll leave that alone. But you can go Ant's route. You can go Ant 30+ points and win at +370. The other reason I like Minnesota here too, spreads, I heard it on a podcast. Mitchell Robinson's averaging almost more offensive rebounds on like 15 teams. You're telling me Cat and Rudy Gobert ain't going to cause some trouble there and give them less chances on the offensive end and get extra points? Like, I think this is a Minnesota smash bar right here.
Fantastic. Sounds good to me. We completely agree. Any thoughts on the total? They have gone under 6 of the last 7 visits from New York to Minnesota, but they only play once a year in Minnesota, so I don't really know how helpful that is.
Yeah, I'd probably leave the total alone. I would want to go under, but that seems a little low. And in today's
I think it's under a pass.
It's under a pass, but in today's NBA is 108, 107 really all like that low?
Nope. Let's keep it going. We'll take the Timberwolves and keep it
fall
going.
into 108, 107.
All right. Let's talk about a team that I thought we put an X on this yesterday. I can't believe that was only a lean. That was stupid of us. But the Kings are -1. They're in New Orleans. They're taking on the Pelicans. Total 236.5. The Kings looked good in their win over the Mavericks yesterday. That was fun. Tyler De'Aaron Fox lit it up from behind the arc. Sabonis quietly puts up big stats every night. Probably because Fox is so dynamic, you don't really know what Sabonis is doing. And that game looked like it was going to fly over, but the Mavericks kind of slowed up late there, which is kind of how we handicapped it, right? With the idea when you and I talked in the morning, Tyler, that was going to be a tired Mavericks team coming off that high-scoring game in Milwaukee the game before. But I'm going to zigzag here, and I'm going to take the Pelicans at home. And I just think this is a bad spot for the Kings, of course, on a huge win streak. And then having to play yesterday while the Pelicans had the night off. Tyler, though, you sounded like when we talked a little bit before we jumped on that you disagree. Sacramento is 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games.
I mean, this is a tough one. It's both teams' third game in 4 nights. I want to lean under, but I think that could also hinder the defense a little bit. And these guys
no unders in Kings games.
Yeah, the way it lines up, if it was different teams, I'd probably be on the under.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be on the Kings spread.
Why?
What pushes you towards the Pelicans outside of all they're on a winning
fatigue?
That's it.
Yes.
When both teams are on 3 games in 4 nights, it's just one played a back-to-back last night. It's not like these guys are old. Like, who's the oldest guy?
We talked minutes. No one.
I mean, we talked fatigue about OKC and Portland lost by what, 40?
Yeah.
All those guys are young. Like, yeah, I don't want to fully use the fatigue factor here just to be like, oh, this the Pelicans smash ball.
Okay, you know what? You're kind of talking me off it. The 3 and 4 is a great point.
3 and 4, the Pelicans are a thinner roster. The Kings, if they push the pace, like, yeah, this one could just fall right into the Kings' lap. I don't think the Pelicans are all that good, still missing guys. It's Kings or pass for me. I'll say that.
Okay, for me, it's Pels or pass. We'll talk about it after the show, but it looks like there'll be no play on that game for us on the treasure map. And I'll tell you what, Tyler, Sometimes I say I'm going to play, with those Raiders bets. Like even though we didn't put it on the sheet, I'm going to bet it. I'm not going against you here. If it's not on the sheet, I'm not going to bet it. And you made a good point there about the fatigue. Maybe I am overrating the Pelicans' fatigue. I guess my one last point, I would say, I know I'm not going to convince you, but I'll throw that out there in argument of the Pelicans. Even though it is 3-4, Zion didn't play in the most recent game, so he should be a little more rested. And I also think that's going to be a great matchup for him going against.
Yeah, I don't mind playing, say, like his points probably. I think he could smash this matchup. Like, what could you even get on? Say,
maybe that's a better way to do it.
Yeah, maybe. Or if you're going to approach this game instead of just laying the points and getting a -110, like go in and do a Zion 25+ and they win and get a +200, to where like you're getting a little extra value on that. You know what I mean? Like, how often do the Pelicans beat the Kings and Zion doesn't get to 25 here?
Great point. All right, so let's keep it moving. The Heat play the Bulls. Throw the projections out the window, Tyler. It's Heat or pass, and I like the under here.
Yeah.
I don't really have like a huge breakdown of this game, but we talked about it earlier. This Bulls team's in turmoil. Heat team is quietly playing really well in spite of all their injuries, right? They do this every single year. # Heat culture, right? I mean, Spo and Tomlin hand in hand, right? Exceeding expectations every year with a bunch of bums.
Yeah,
I like the Heat. I like the under. What do you want to do?
We'll talk about that other name you said in there at 4:00 because I got some word for that entire group of guys. But as for the
NBA, we will, because I already know where you're going with this, and I will not accept Tomlin slander.
I mean, you could ship him down the river with the rest of them just because.
Ship the GM down the river for drafting that bum.
All of them, the GM, Tomlin, Canada, Pickett,
keep Tomlin forever.
All of them, get them all out of here.
All right, well, it's a tease for the next show. But for this game, Tyler, I mean, Heat under. Are we putting these on the sheet? Do you agree?
No, we definitely take the Heat. I mean, Did you see how this game played out when they played a few days ago?
No.
The Heat went up. I think it was 24-1.
Oh yeah, because we were gonna bet it, and I was thinking, we should have bet it. We should have bet it, and then it ended up going right to the wire.
And then they blew the lead, and they lost the game. This is the game where Jimmy Butler comes back and just kind of drops his ball bag on them. Drops 25+, grabs a couple steals, does his thing, and they win this game pretty easily. 208, I'm not touching that total. I'm on Miami, though. I think they win this game rather handily.
All right. Well, I told you before I want to go against Tyler in some of them, but I'm going to take the under on my own, even if it's not on the sheet. I don't care. Low-pace Heat game. I think they're going to enforce their will on a Chicago team that does not have the team essence, the team spirit right now. As we talked about earlier, their major star is on the way out. And you know what the funny thing is? Like, why would they not trade DeRozan too?
I don't know.
He's way closer to the end of his
contract
career.
Worse though?
Doesn't matter. I mean, it's just like.
Well, I also think it's one of those things. Like, if you're a team wanting to trade for a guy, how often is the team trading for a guy looking for a guy that can't shoot?
DeRozan can shoot just from the mid-range.
Not threes. Yeah, a lot of guys. You better space the floor in the NBA nowadays. Standing at the key, public key ain't spacing the floor.
Yeah, I guess you're also thinking if you're going with a young team, he's probably a better veteran in your locker room than Zach LaVine.
I feel like he's one of those. Sorry to cut you off, but I feel like he's one of those guys that eventually gets like bought out and goes where he wants. You know what I mean? Like, he hangs around Chicago as no matter how bad they.
I don't think they'd ever buy him out because he's worth the first rounder.
I think they buy him out of it. I think he just does his time.
Caruso's worth the first rounder. DeRozan has to be.
I mean, maybe they try and trade him, but I think in the end, a couple of these guys get bought out off the roster.
Right. I bet the DeRozan gets traded and not bought out. The Clippers are -8.5. They're in San Antonio taking on the Spurs. Totals 230.5. Tyler, the Clippers finally got their first win with James Harden in the lineup there. So he had that 4-point play to help them lift over the Rockets. Yet we were on the Rockets. Yet they covered again. So that was nice for us. So even though the Clippers got the win, they didn't cover the spread. That was 6.5 at home against Houston. Houston's much better than San Antonio. But San Antonio's catching 8.5, 230.5. I can see two things here. Number one, maybe a little bit of like a letdown. Maybe, they're a little more relaxed, finally getting the win. Or two, they finally found something moving Russ to the bench, and now this team's going to continue to go each way. I think you can make a good argument on both sides, which is why I'm completely fine passing on this game. If you force me to take a side, I'll take the points. But I don't love the game. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Don't love the game. I think the Clippers win it in the end because I do think they realized the problem a lot sooner than I thought they would. And that was they tried to log jam the starting lineup with all the stars. And if you went back into a couple rundowns, I even said it. I was like, somebody's going to have to come off the bench and like run a second unit. And Russ was the bigger man here, raised his hand and said,
it's actually worse.
Yeah.
If it was 2K and we didn't have to worry about egos, I'm Harden off the bench, Lou Williams style.
Yeah, he would
20 points in 19 minutes.
He would torch teams off the bench. He would walk into the 6th Man of the Year award easily.
Yeah.
Harden would.
Yeah,
but he's going to stay in the starting lineup. Russ is going to run the bench unit. That's definitely going to work for this team. The Spurs team doesn't play much defense. They're pretty high paced, and they're just kind of like finagling with stuff. Like Sohan at the point, like what are we still doing with that? Like get him into his right position. Like Victor's the only bright spot, and Vassell's out. I'm not laying 8 with this team, though, yet. So I agree if you had to pin me down to a side, I'd probably take the points. But Harden, 10-plus assists, and the Clippers win at plus 350, I'll take a shot on.
Okay. There you have it. Tyler's going performance double. I think you do play it, take the points with the Spurs, but actually, yeah. All right, we're not going to do that, though. The Houston Rockets are plus 7 against the Warriors. Tyler, the Rockets have been making us money. This feels like it should be the same spot, right? Warriors are a team that we've talked about. They're simply not that good. They have a top 5 player and just washed out Clay.
Clay sucks.
He's terrible now.
His shot selection's so bad, too. Like, I know maybe, but it'll probably be tonight because I'm about to shit on him, and this is going to be the game.
He always does this too. Yep, you're probably right.
I know I'm probably right though because I know I'm going to talk so bad about him, and then he's going to come out.
I'm going to join you.
All these bad shot selections are going to go in tonight, but just watching him play, like he catches it in the corner, and it's like he doesn't even jab step or anything; he just holds it for a second, and then he just rises up into his jump shot with the guy right in his face. It's like this ain't 2015. Like those used to drop all the time, but they're just not there anymore.
Bro, in that Thunder game, the one that we got lucky on, right? He sent me the DM.
He was the best thing that ever happened to us in that game.
Did you see the shot that he put up with the game on the line?
Yeah, I watched him shoot it.
It was terrible.
I loved it. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, he could get us here. Here's my concern, man. A young Rockets team. That was a tough game in Los Angeles last night. I'm worried they're a little bit tired after traveling to Los Angeles. But to me, once again, and I'll tell you what, I like the points a lot more on this one than I did the last one. I think you take the plus 7 if you get involved here. I don't know if we want to get involved, though. We've talked about fatigue before, Tyler. Now's the time where it's really starting to rear its head. It's not just capping 2 teams against each other. We're really capping the schedule as well. And I'm worried about this travel spot for the Rockets, which is why I haven't locked in the plus 7 yet. What do you think, man? What do you think?
I mean, let's be real, Spread. How far is LA to Golden State in a plane?
1 hour flight.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's nothing. I don't think the travel really affects them all that much.
But I'm talking about the partying all weekend in LA. Then you get in there last night. I mean, people think San Francisco is all men running after men, but there's lots of good-looking women there, too. They're going to have plenty of time to have fun.
No,
That's just my concern.
I'm not going to argue that. Now, Basketball Monster's like just losing its mind over here. I was trying to see if they played.
Oh, bro, I'm using RotoWire. Basketball Monster's dead to me.
Yeah, I was trying to see if they play. If this is like a 3 games and 4 nights for them or not. I don't believe it is.
For who?
Houston. Yeah, because they play Friday at the Clippers. So, yeah, they've been in there all weekend. I still think they're the right side here, though. Like, this Warriors team is just Steph. Like, Kuminga, mid, like, not even good. They won't play Moody. Draymond's some rebounds. Like, outside of Steph dropping 55 on us tonight and the Rockets just being dead, how do we not keep this within 7?
Vintage Clay game.
I'm willing to bet against that.
I kind of am too. We just talked ourselves into it. Damn it. Will we regret this? Who knows? But I'm fine with that, Tyler.
I just think because even last night against the Lakers, like it looked like at the beginning of the fourth quarter, I was like, shit, like Lakers look like they're finally putting it together.
Yeah, because they jumped out like 85,
they're
75.
They're gonna pull away, and then they
Yeah.
didn't in the end. So it was like cool. The Rockets kept it close. Draymond still being out's big. It's all on Steph. Like maybe wait and don't play this until like closer to tip off. Like we'll mark it as an official play. It'll be an official play. But in the notes, we'll say wait. Don't click this button until 10 minutes before the game starts.
Why?
Because just like you said, we're worried about fatigue. But this is a young team. But of the guys who could possibly sit here would be Van Fleet and Dylan Brooks. If Van Fleet sits, we're getting plus 8.5. If they both sit, we might get 9.5.
I would be shocked. They won't sit those guys. This is a young team with something to play.
I mean, they're already resting Tari Eason for rest. So
what?
Yeah, Tari Eason is out tonight. How much does he
even play?
He played last night.
That has to be something nagging.
And Gary Payton's also out for Golden State
he's out
too. So I just think it's Houston or pass. And
Did you see who the ref was?
No.
Zarba.
Oh, you're putting your ref cert on tonight.
All right.
I like Şengün's double here. Minus 110. I think that's a perfect spot.
All right, let's do the best bet. And then do we want to start the next show early so you can do the whole thing with me, or do we want to take a break?
It's up to you. I mean, we can fire it up. We can bang it out quickly.
I'm going to message JC while you go ahead and give out your best bet of the day.
Yeah, my best bet of the day. I'm not going to steal yours because I already know what yours is. I'll leave that on the board for you. I do like the Jokic triple-double and win. I'm going to bet the triple-double is my favorite prop of the day. As for my favorite side of the day, give me the Miami Heat minus 1.5 in a bounce-back spot against a Bulls team that's in shambles. And I think the Heat are just going to roll in after what they did in that first game and then blowing the lead. I think they come back and smash right here. So Heat minus 1.5, Jokic triple-double, and Jokic triple-double and win.
All right. I'm on the since you took that one, I'll just take the Timberwolves. We talked about why we like it. It's a battle of two hot teams. Knicks 7-0 against the spread. Timberwolves 5-0 against the spread in the last five. Something's got to give. But I do like the size of the Timberwolves there. Gobert, Towns, Nasri, to maybe give Julius Randle some problems. And then if it comes down to A1 versus Brunson and Barrett, given the home court advantage, I like the T-Wolves. There you have it. I didn't actually message JC yet. I messaged Meg. So tomorrow we're going 2 and 3. So I just saw your message too as well, Robert. What's up, buddy? So there you have it. And we will start, I don't know, sometimes we'll tweet it out right before we do. Tyler likes your best bet was, I'm sorry, one more time. That's what happens when I'm trying to do too many things at once. Your best is the Heat. My best bet's the Timberwolves. There you have it. Any words of wisdom for the people?
Just lock it on tonight. Bet these NBA plays. Check treasure map and fly Eagles fly because we're putting Patty Mahomes down tonight.
Oh God, I can't wait for the next show. All right, we're starting soon. See you guys later.